I bet you guys didn't think I was an Ink Master fan, did you? I'm like on a episode recap like rush today. I just did some Dragon Ball Z stuff. I'm gonna do some stuff on The Flash. I'm gonna do some stuff on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But right now I want to talk about Ink Master. We're on Season 8, Episode 8. I've watched every single season, every single episode, and I'm always very opinionated and vocal with my wife and stepdaughter while we're watching. And you know what? I just kind of had this epiphany where I'm like, why not just be, vocal on camera and start putting more videos on my Older Humanity channel. So here we are, Season 8, Episode 8. Obviously, it's the epic showdown of Nunez versus Peck. First of all, I just want to say that when the season started, I was interested to see how they were going to be critiquing the artist, because obviously it's a head-to-head challenge of team versus team, but I gotta say, I really enjoy, I think my favorite part of the whole show is actually just, listening to the judges, because all three of those guys, they try to be as fair as possible, and to be honest, I've never really ever seen them play favorites. In fact, the only time I ever got pissed at the show and the judges was when, I forget what season it was, but it was when they had the dude on there who was like the only guy who didn't have any tattoos on his body. And then they had this guest appearance judge on who's like this famous tattoo artist, I forget his name, but he does amazing work, obviously. And he was giving the guy so much shit because the guy didn't have any tattoos. And he's like, how can you be an artist, if you don't have any tattoos? And I'm sitting here like, so, you can have if you have no tattoos, you're not an artist, but if you have tattoos and they're all stupid bullshit tattoos with no meaning, and you just got them because you got them, that makes you a better tattoo person. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. And the guy was like, listen, when I find the perfect tattoo that I want, then I'll get it. Until then, I love art, I love tattoos, and I'm going to pursue that passion. And I was really pissed off that he didn't get a lot of backup from the judges. They should have backed him up, because the guy should have won that season. He was the friggin' best. And clearly, you might be asking yourself why I like the show, because I don't have any tattoos. Well, art comes in many different forms. I choose to express myself through the gym. But on a side note, I really do love tattoos. It's funny, growing up, I think all my friends had tattoos except me. And out of all my friends, I was the only one that went to the gym. So, like, you know what I'm saying? My best friend Tony, him and his family would have tattoo parties every single weekend, and I would come over every single weekend to see the cool tattoos. Like, I really think the process of it is pretty cool, and I'm very artistic myself. For those of you who don't know, I'm very good at drawing and sculpting. Anyways, moving back on to the episode. So, first of all, it's become a house divided. Boys versus girls. And I gotta say, you know what? The women are really taking over this house. The dudes have no friggin' balls. And I got so angry watching this episode when Sketchy Lawyer did the team-ups the way he wanted to do it, and then he let the girls just grab his balls and yank them off like a paper towel, and then he started to do what they wanted to do, and they got screwed because Ryan, and I think she was with Gia, I forget who she was with, but they ended up winning, the skull pick, and then they did the skull pick themselves. But as we've seen throughout this entire season, whenever the chicks do the skull picks, they always seem to screw themselves over, and Gia was sent home. And it's so funny because the girls do so well with, like, manipulating the guys, and then it's like they get to the finish line and they trip, because every time they've had a skull pick, especially with friggin', was it Kelly or Nikki? No, with Nikki. Nikki had the skull pick, and then she almost screws over Kelly in the last episode. But I gotta say, if out of all the people in this house, I think the person who's gonna win actually is Kelly, because she just does phenomenal work. And I knew, even though she got the hard canvas, that she was gonna knock it out of the park, and she didn't. She won. She ended up winning the challenge, and so, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, I feel like in this show, like, there's never really a bad skull pick. Either you're a good artist or you're not. And the women, especially Nikki, like, bitch and complain about getting a bad canvas, but they claim to be so good. And it's like, they're like, why'd you give me the bad canvas? Well, someone's gonna get a bad canvas, dude. Like, do you think that one person is not gonna get screwed over? Like, it's gonna happen. But if you're a good artist, you get it done and you move forward. And that's honestly why I think Kelly's going to win. Because look at her track record. She does amazing stuff, and she gives it her all, like, every single time. The only one that kind of came out funky was the throat one. But still, it did look pretty cool, and it came out okay. But moving on to the episode, Sketchy Lawyer dropped the ball, and then they move into the actual challenge, and so the girls do the skull picks or whatever. And, you know, Gian got the hardest one, but Gian, actually, no, I take that back. It's going to be at the end. It's going to be between Kelly and Gian. And Gian did an amazing job. He took what the people wanted. He even had the worst canvas in terms of having to do not only a pinup, but a pinup with a car. And then on top of that, he had to do the older woman who has, I guess the skin is harder to work with when you have older skin. He knocked it out of the park, and that's why he won, because he's an amazing artist too. They tried to screw him over, but they couldn't do it. And then when it got down to elimination time, you know, I think it's funny how when the jury goes and tries to decide, you know, whose tattoo is the worst, you know, I feel like the dudes are trying to actually give their honest opinion about the canvases and whose was the worst, and then as soon as the girls talk, they immediately just put down the one person they wanted to go home, which was Boneface. And to be honest with you, I don't think Boneface's tattoo was all that bad. I mean, yeah, he packed it with too much black and gray, and it was hard to kind of see some of the detail, but I also know tattoos will lighten up over time, and that the left arm was kind of hard to see, and the hand was too dark by the front of the gun, which made it kind of blend in. But I mean, from far away, you could still see what it was, and then when you got close, the proportions were definitely there, where Gia's was kind of funky, and you guys saw the episode, they pointed out all the things that were wrong with it, and she ended up going home. And to be honest with you, I was kind of happy to see her leave, because I kind of thought that her work throughout the season wasn't really her best, and she always had an excuse, and I really get irritated watching these shows, and they're like, I'll do a better job next time, I'll do a better job next time, and I'm sitting here like, bro, you're on a TV show, this is like the opportunity of a lifetime, there is no next time for you, like every time should be like your last time, and you need to give it everything you've got, and understand that some people drop the ball sometimes, which, you know, we saw, I forget the guy's name, the heavyset guy with the glasses. You know, he's really amazing artist, but his pinup was kind of funky looking, and he had his proportions a little off, you know, where the butt was huge and the legs were small, and the hand on the side was kind of like all jacked up. But I mean, he consistently puts out amazing work, and Gia had the same technical problems every single time she's been in the bottom, and that's why she went home. And, you know, like I said in the beginning, the judges are extremely fair. No matter what, even if it's their own team, they're still giving, you know, really fair critiques, and they're treating everyone as equals, and I think that's what I like best about this season so far. It's a little on the edge at first, but that's what I like about it so far, and I think it's funny that it's gone boys versus girls, but if the boys don't get their shit together, they're going to be out of that house pretty quick. And after seeing the previews for the next episode, it looks like the judges are starting to notice that as well, and they're kind of giving the guys a kick in the butt, like, hey, you know, something needs to happen here. You guys are going to be gone. And I can understand that gender rivalry. When I was on The Real World, I was on season 21, Real World Brooklyn, you know, it was boys versus girls. And we were neck and neck, and we were always pissing each other off. And, you know, I understand how it is when you're living in a house with people and you want to have this rivalry and you want to do things to throw them off. Like, we did some funny stuff. But, you know, if you're going to do it, then you have to stick to your guns. You can't be like, for example, Sketchy Lawyer. You know, he's sitting in the room, he's talking all this bullshit about, you know, how they need to go after the girls and destroy their emotions, and, you know, we need to work together as a team. And then the first chance he gets to do something, sack dropped. Just gets ripped off, and he goes away from the plan. And he admits that he messes up, but it's too late, bro. Like, you had your chance, you might not be given another one, and you have to understand that in this game. And at the end of the day, too, it's Ink Master, not Ink Masters. There only can be one. So it's like, at the same time, yeah, boys versus girls sounds cool, but, you know, you need to be thinking long term, because if you get rid of all the girls and you still have the boys there and you didn't play your cards right and you get a day where you're not that good and somebody else is better than you in that particular challenge, you're going to go home. So I can't wait to see how the season ends. Would love to leave those comments down in the comment section below. Ink Master, like I said, is one of my favorite shows to watch, and I hope to be covering the rest of these episodes as they come out. So I'll see you guys next week.